All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Living Freestyle Game Dev live stream. Work this like an AMA Q&A. Hop in, ask questions about mostly Unreal game development, Maya, things like that. In the absence of questions, or if nobody's hanging out, what we are doing is we're just kind of live streaming me working towards my own working prototype. That is going very slow because 2 hours a week does not make a game. But it's a rough start to the morning so far. Just all kinds of general computer fun, blue screens of death, the usual stuff. I need a new machine, but we're not doing that anytime soon. And so I am currently just getting the project reopened right now. I went back through all of the previous videos. I didn't see any questions listed in the chat. So we are just going to be hopping right back in to our game dev stuff. And then the usual fun stuff, dog was sick last night and all kinds of stuff like that. So, but we're rolling. We're gonna hopefully be making a game here in a second, although it'll be fairly slow. I did go ahead and I believe I got what were we working on when we last left? We were working on getting our melee AI to choose a better position to attack from. We were fighting our array counts. For some reason I couldn't figure out why they weren't taking up that 0 position and kind of arranging themselves around the actor. I think I have that fixed, and as soon as our project launches, I'll go ahead and hop in and we'll test it. We'll test it with more than 5 enemies. We'll try, 12 or so enemies. And I think from there, I think I want to kind of start working on encounters and just ability authoring and stuff like that. I'm not sure. I think it's one of those things that as we progress towards that, we're going to find the types of things that get in the way that make it a challenge for us to kind of complete the idea of making the encounter. There's a couple things in subsystems and stuff like that that I think we may have to implement as well. But overall, we do need to make a grander decision about how we're going to be creating encounters in general. I am not sure if this is actually even running. Our output's there. It says it's building up to 4 processes. It is sure taking its time though. I'm also afraid to stop it. Oh, this is gonna be one of those mornings. I did while we're doing this. I'm always on a quest for good tutorials or new tutorials, and I found. Let me see if I can find them again. Unreal Engine YouTube. So just a shout out to Dev Enabled. So this is Dev Enabled on YouTube. They've got a lot of. This person has a lot of kind of pretty cool stuff. But I was curious how you might tie audio, the actual beat of the audio, to visual and Unreal. And there was a tutorial on there that this person went through it. There's just a lot of. It looks like there's just a lot of content, and I didn't find anybody else who had a tutorial about that, so it was pretty cool. So shout out to Dev Enabled on that. That was a tutorial I really liked. And then the other one was Common UI. I have been doing a lot of work with Common UI, just learning more about it, why it's there. I think there's 2 big questions that I'm trying to answer with Common UI. One is, why is it that, and then this isn't a Common UI question, but this is me learning what Common UI is to figure out if this is even the right question. So one is, what is with this big push to have so much of UI in C++? And I'm trying to find the advantage. I'm looking for this answer right now, because not every UI designer or UX designer is C++ savvy. So you're kind of almost requiring an engineer to for that part of the team, which isn't a bad thing. I want to find where the win is here. So I'm digging into a little bit of that. And then as part of that, also, I'm looking into Common UI. Common UI, I'm starting to wrap my head around. It's a lot like using, for anybody who used to develop web and, for web or anything like that, it's a lot about using templates and things like that to make it easier and faster to make updates game wide. And implement new stuff game wide, because you have basically you have your templates and your cookie cutters in place, and you can just kind of drop them in. So far, that's kind of what I'm finding, and the Common UI itself is it's working, right? Like in some of the stuff that I've tested so far. So it does look like our Unreal is launching now, which is cool. So let's take a look at, make sure that we got our chat open. We do. And then what we'll do is take a quick second and transition to our screen left. There we go. Close the door, help with noise. And let's double check. That's our list of things to do. What's on our old list of things to do? Set pawn data, restarting a transform, time dilation manager, stun frozen execution. Interesting. Okay. Not a whole lot helpful. We're still stuck at 83%. This is as usual. I think it's the compile. Compile. Almost there though. All right. So slow. I'm also lucky and afraid because I got a new machine at work. Like I said, I am fortunate enough to work in game dev, and it is an insane machine. And I think it's one of those situations where when I use it, it is going to make using my home computer painful. So that is going to be another thing that's going to make me want to upgrade. But again, too many moving parts right now. I don't want to upgrade if I can help it. All right, so we're loading all the symbols. Does that mean we're getting there? Come on. There we go. We finally crossed the 83% mark. There's 92. You can do it. Fix chars, enter and leave the throw zone. Okay, that still applies, I think. There's a communicate radius for the throw zone. We still need that. These are some questions. Don't think we need this. This was just tracking. This was just tracking our stuff. This is some naming things that I'm thinking on. And then we can put into this list our encounter manager, which I think it is still a question mark, but I think we're probably going to need that. And also the other thing I want to look into is ability branching. Because the last few times we've gone through and we created the ability to swing a sword, but I'd like to take a look at the idea behind attack combos, right? If I left click, right click, left click, right click type thing do I get? How do I branch the different abilities Dark Souls style? I also need to be careful and think because this game is starting to feel like everything, right? It's a shooter, but it's not. It's a Dark Souls type thing, but it's not. You can do all the things, so it's gonna be interesting to balance all this stuff. So let's take a look at finally. Apologize for the delay. Make sure all of our levels and everything are good to go. Let's take a look at whether or not we're where we are. Play. So slow. Why are you so slow this morning? Oh, we also have to do our first time breakpoint thing. Okay. So. Alright, somebody's there. Somebody's there. Hold on a second. Okay. Sort of working. Better. I'm confused as to what this pawn is doing. These two pawns are fighting over the same spot, so we're not there yet. Something's going on. So here we go. Here we go. There's our usual breakpoint. Let's take a look at this. Can we get a reproducible thing? With just two. Right, they go over and do their bit. There. Okay, wait. That. Oh, interesting. These spear positions. They're changing. Are they changing? If I rotate. Can't tell. It looks like they might be changing based on my pawn face. Also, what are they doing right now? Okay, so let's take a look at a couple things. DT underbar. Let's look for fight. Alright, here's our blueprint. We are in. Okay. So right now we're bouncing between this melee and this melee. And we kind of need to figure out why. And that's because we're out of ammo. Yeah. I think what we need to do here is we need to take a look at let's just remove this. All right. Let's just test that way. I think I love this one. Great. So what's this other guy? In fight. It's not getting a move to location. Weird. Okay, it just moved in. Alright, so we gotta do that again and see if we can catch it this time. So we're gonna back off. That one comes in. That one comes in too. They seem to be going to... Nah. The center of that sphere. Okay, the sphere is moving. Okay, a couple things. Alright, there's a couple things going on here. Alright, now that we can see this. So this find a random attack location, what's happening is when we come in here and we are getting the rings. We are getting the rings based on, let's see here, the characters facing, I believe. These are ring claims, that's fine. These are who's claimed what. And this is the attack ring claim, and this is the position. Wait, here's the position. Alright, so in our positions, la-di-da-da, we're making a rotator, and we're rotating the forward vector of the actor. So that's why it's doing that. I don't think we want to do that. I think we just rotate. Let's just rotate the X vector so that these are always the same. So that way, let's try this. So 1. Okay. I think having the rings orient around the forward vector of the actor works for an object that's not moving. That's what we did for our pickups. I also have not started Perforce yet today, so let's get that going. Okay, so we can do things like save this stuff. Okay, so that's that. Compile and save. So for inanimate objects, that worked well because the spheres didn't move. But because I'm changing which way I'm facing, it makes sense that. Okay, so let's make sure that these don't move. Okay, they're not moving anymore. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So wherever they are. So these two have attack ring claims. She should always be in front of me, and the darker one should always be off to the left. I would love to know what they think they're thinking about right now. But they are keeping those positions. So that's good. Alright, so we eliminated one issue. I'd like to know, what are they thinking about right now? When they're just sitting there. See if I can visualize it. Like, what is she thinking about right now? Just waiting. We're just waiting. Why are we just waiting? Okay. Try again. Oh, they're both attacking now. Man, this is going to be really hard to be. Okay, so I'm going to move this off screen just to help me. Once I get the breakpoint I want, I'll pull it back over and we can step through it. Okay, so let's get rid of this, and I'm going to do the same thing. Yeah, I'm not going to do that for that. Let's get rid of this. Go. All right, bring them all over here. If she's moving in, they're both moving in. Oops. That was oops. Okay. All right. Try that again. He comes in. They both come in. All right, that's fine. That's not a problem. He comes in. Which character is... All right, now I'm debugging BP1. Let's see where we get with it. Okay, so this could be it. We're setting our move to location to be the exact same as it was. Double check the chat here. So if for some reason we don't find a location, she'll never move for multiple times, waiting for multiple seconds there. All right, we're gonna cast the actor. We get a random reachable point in the radius, and wait a second. Why are we doing this? We're getting the actor location. We're getting a random reachable point in the radius. And if we find one, we're getting ring position. Why would we do that? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, hold on. I don't like this. I don't even know that we need to keep debugging here. So, actually, let's continue debugging. And what we can do is this. Look, this isn't even connected to anything. So it's going to be coming through in false a whole lot of time. I don't think we need this. I think this whole thing is obsolete in here. Find random attack location task. So what's going to happen now is it's going to go through the rings every time. Okay, so let's try that. Let's just... I think that was left over from before. Let's see if we get... Alright, we can not worry about that. Okay, they both moved to their point. They both moved to their point. Okay. That seems to be more consistent now. I think that's good. And they're both going to the same spot every time. Okay, so let's let it ride, as they say in Vegas. Or the game in Vegas. And so what I want to do is, when we calculate our ring positions, all right, let's leave the draw up for now. And then let's pop up our enemy count and see if we notice anything weird. So let's triple it. That should give us 2 on the outside and 4 in the inner ring once they get going. Sorry, let's go again because I didn't have my mouse. Good. Oh wait, I can just. Here's what we can do. Gonna check. All right, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. There's our other enemy. Where's our other enemy going? It looks like they're all in the right spot. Holy goodness. We may have found the bug. That's great. Okay. Let's push our performance and let's go even more. Let's go 12 enemy. This is going to be painfully slow. We're going to have 2 squads. Eject. Alright. So is everybody taking up an attack position that is in one of these yellow spheres? The answer looks like yes to me. It's kind of hard to move around because right now we're chugging because every single one of these enemies is drawing all of these spheres repeatedly every so often, plus their own spheres. So you've got 12 enemies all drawing spheres. And the interesting thing is the backline enemies are not attacking, right? Makes sense. Okay, cool. We're making progress today. Off to a slow start, but making progress. So let's go in here. We can, I believe we can get rid of this debug. So let's call that's working. And then I want to in our get ring positions, we're going to get rid of these debugs. All right, and then to do add logic for pickup. This is why we use comments, using to pick up versus attack. Oh, okay. So this is because, yeah, okay. That's so that we have our, if we use this same ring function, being able to use it to pick up an object versus surround an object. Because pick up an object, you actually want to go to the 0 position, which we don't do for this logic right now. Now, we have a print string somewhere that is printing out the name of all of our characters. And I am trying to remember. Here it is. We don't need this print string. All right, so that should help us clean that up. Compile and save all of that, and then let's go. All right. It's kind of cool when they all start moving. That's pretty cool. The outside people are not attacking, and they're not attacking for two reasons. One, there might be another of their teammates in the way, and two, their attack radius is too far. If we wanted to test that, what we could do is we could change the attack radius of the sword. Then what's going to happen in this particular case, the way these guys are lined up, all of the inner ones will attack. This enemy right here will also attack because they have clean line of sight, and so will this one. These two may or may not. So let's take a look at that, and let me show you what I'm talking about there. So when they decide to attack, so it uses the attack range. When we go through, that's the current weapon. Here's our line trace. They're line tracing for whether or not it's interesting because yeah, that's gonna be wild. All right. So slow down here. It's getting exciting. Let's take a look at our sword. And I believe it's under our weapon instance. So if we increase our attack range, let's remember that. Let's make it 1,000. We run the same test. All right, stand out. Well, they're all swinging away already. That's hilarious. It does crack me up. All right. Oh, dude. Okay, look at this. Look at where they all are. Oh, that's wild. Okay, so what's happening is the attack range is being used to determine the distance away. So that's why they start so far away. If we bring this in, oh, interesting. We may want to change this. Let me think. In the ring position, when they get position, we are using the equipped weapon range to determine how far away. And that makes sense because if we're using a rifle, but let's just say we want to compare apples to apples. Let's go 150, and then we'll keep our attack range what it was. So they're all going to swing away, and then they're all going to move into position again where they were originally. So we can recreate that scenario once they get to where they're going. Okay, so everybody's in place. Now you'll notice, just like I mentioned, the 4 inner people are always attacking because they have clear line of sight to me. The 2 dark enemies that are behind, they're not attacking because their line of sight is blocked. The interesting ones are these characters here that are on the edges, and in particular this one. Line of sight, this character has a perfect line of sight, just maybe over her shoulder, this enemy's shoulder, and that's why they're attacking. So this dude would be killing their buddy if they had friendly fire turned on. So there's a couple ways we could fix this. One thing we could do is if we come in here and when we determine this attack, we're using a line trace. Okay, so let's just swap this real quick. Let's do a sphere trace. Exact same thing, but do a sphere trace. And I'll kind of demo this real quick so that sphere trace for object. So you can see. So and let's do that. Well, first let's do this. Draw debug for 1 frame, and we have our red line. So let's go back and just show you visually what this line trace looks like. All right. I can still see it if we eject. All right, so we have our line traces. Once everybody moves in, we'll be able to see so you can see this character is, as an example, just barely looking past the inner one. This one's not. This one occasionally, when she moves, is able to swing. Right? So sometimes you see the red square here, and sometimes you see it here. Now, if we change this, like, and she's also getting it when she's ducking, because she's doing the sphere trace from her head, it looks like. Pretty sure. Yeah, they're doing sphere traces from their head. The interesting thing is they're doing sphere traces from their head to the center of the capsule of me. All right, but let's now swap this. Swap this so you can see the visual difference. And we're going to swap this to be a sphere trace instead. And we want our out hit to be here. We want start and end. You can just connect both. Start and end. We want our array for object type. I want our array for actors to ignore as well. And this is where we're going to do our debug. I'm going to draw a debug for duration. Let's say 0.1. Okay, and what we want to say is let's set a radius of 50, for example. Now, when we run this now, what you're going to notice is there's, rather than using a line, there's a big old sphere. It's an elongated sphere. And if we eject, you'll notice that it's actually testing this entire sphere when it does this. And by doing so, the chances of these outer characters ever to attack, like this one, the ones that were sometimes attacking, like she was, this one right here, she was sometimes attacking before. But because this is a sphere trace now, she's never attacked. Now, a sphere trace is also more expensive. So, and even sometimes this one is hitting her arms when she's swinging through. But this is working much better now. Line trace for projectiles and maybe sphere trace for weapons. Maybe that would be a thing. This is not the kind of thing that I'm going to worry about right now. If I find that my enemies are killing each other, then okay. But for now, we're just going to leave that as a line trace. And we can turn off our debug so that we're back to what we were. Just double check that we haven't broke anything. Run that. Here. Eject. There is something interesting to test here. So let's do this. Which I think is going to be interesting. All right, so first off, we're good. This is working. Super happy with this progress. Let's move on to the next thing. Now, one bit, and I'm trying to decide if this is a big deal or not. Right now, if I'm standing too close to this edge, half of our circle points are not navigable, so I can't use those. So let's just test that real quick. And to do that, let's possess the character again. We'll come over here. And what I want to see is, well, there's two different scenarios for this. One is we've already established our assigned positions. Okay, so none of these characters can get to their positions. So they're not actually moving there. That's interesting. Why is that? Here's our ring position. We set our move to location. This should be a random reachable point in navigable radius if it's not an actor, so that's not happening. So it's got to be in ring position. So somewhere in here, we go through, we get all the ring. Then what we do is we set our claims. Then we set our attack ring claim positions and we kick out. And we move to location. We can't move to. So the problem, okay, so we're stuck. We're failing on move 2 because our move 2 is not reachable. So our enemies are just not moving. Is that true? Hold on. Let me see if I'm making this up. Okay, if I set this, does it change? Okay, so if I change this to 9, oh, it does update. Okay, so that is true. So this is character 9, right? As we can see highlighted, she is stuck. And she's stuck in her move 2 because her find random attack location must be messed up. So let's take character 9. Why these numbers potentially not the same, I don't know. So that's the path this is taking through this. It's getting in ring positions. And if we look at 9 again, so in here, we're coming in. It looks like we're skipping all of this, interestingly enough. That's setting it to nothing. Comes through, does all this stuff, and then we're just returning out this position. So right now, if we pop in here, if I put a breakpoint right here, it's returning 0 for her. She has no claim. Interesting. Okay. So that's her. Let's see if he has the same problem. So that's 9, 8, 7, 6. All right, so he is 6. And if he has the same problem, oh no. This, okay. Okay. So what's happening is the 0 spot and the 5 spot are on the opposite side. They're not reachable. Okay, so it's not that the index is 0, it's that the index they're trying to get to is not reachable because the 0 or the 5 spots must be over here behind this wall. And we could, okay, let's prove this. All right, before I stop this, let's think here. Because this is behind the wall, this is coming in, and so they're just moving to that point. But they can't go there. So we would need to add logic to see if this point is reachable. So this is going to set the first one. And oh, okay, I think I see where we can put in a stop. Okay, let's do this. All right, we're just going to go for straight for trying to fix it. All right, and so what we're going to do is in here, when we check to see if that spot's been claimed, we also want to check to see if it's navigable. So what we're going to do is let's expand this out. I think we can do this. All right, so if it's less than 1, we're also going to do an and the and that we're going to do is we're going to get the position get for this thing. And then we'll do check to be navigable. Is it navigable that we're looking for? Navigable. Reachable. Is what do we have? We have our behavior tree of variables. The ring. Okay, is navigation being built? Move to location. Get the navigation system. Get random point. Has partial path. Path. Try this path. Find path to location. Returns true if the current path on comment. No. And casting enums as. These are actual like directory paths. That's not what we want. Okay, so I think what we want is find path location. No, that's just way too complicated. I swear there's some. Oh, let's remove this concept. Navigable. Navigable. Path. That path, the current path. Reachable. I mean, one thing we could do is we could, for now, until I find this, rather than floundering with this, what we could do is we could get reachable point and radius, and we just make our radius really small. Make our radius like 10. And here's our origin. And if this is true, then we will keep going. All right, so now what this is going to do is, in addition to checking if the position is free from a who claimed it standpoint, it's also going to check to see if the point is reachable before it determines whether or not to set that as our destination. So let's try it. First, let's see if we broke what we already had. We're going to come out here. Let's get rid of this break for now. Interesting. We definitely broke it. Like, I don't know why that broke it, but we definitely broke it. Oh, okay. No, it needs to be. We need to reset our swords back to 150. I'd say that that is not working. So I'm not sure why. We're getting the position, we're getting that origin. This is the random location. Radius. Yeah, maybe we need to give it the nav. Maybe this is not returning anything ever. Interesting. These are all nav systems. I have a question. Let's see if we use this and do we ever hit this? That's what we want to know. It's not even hitting it. Oh, there we go. One of them hit it. Out of 12 characters, only one is finding that their attack location. Successfully. Wow. Okay. We need to take a look at something here because this is making. When we originally did this find cover position, Oh, this is an EQS. Okay, so hold on. And what's the name of that one? It is EQS find cover. I did this with EQS find cover. EQS find cover. And this gets generate cover point. That's generate cover. Generate cover points in playable. We take a look at compare the team. Get the stuff. We line trade. We get the generated point. Then we expand from the query here. Multi-line. Project point to navigate. This is what we want. So let's try this instead. So in here, here. Rather than this, let's project this point to navigation. And we're going to take this, and we're going to add a little bit in Z to make sure it's above, say 50, 20. Okay, and if the return value is true, let's go. All right, everybody, do your thing. Blueprint, attempted X index -1 for array. What? Yeah, that's still not working. Look at this error. Where am I trying to access -1? Oh, it's because, okay, this is why. What's happening is because we're not successfully getting a point, our value is staying at -1. So we don't want to return that. We also have to catch that. But first we got to figure out let's draw a debug here. Why not? Draw a debug sphere. And we're going to draw it at this projected. Let's draw 2. Let's draw 1 here. Okay, and we're going to make it a radius of 70. We'll make this the red one, the point we're testing. Give it a duration of 1, and a thickness of 1. And then let's duplicate that. And let's use this, and we'll make the radius smaller, 50, and we'll make it green. Okay, and then also, as it happens, all of our points are on the left side, so we can greatly reduce the number of enemies we're spawning here, because we can test it with just 6 for example. So if we come over here, and I stand here, so red is the position that is checking green. What in the world do I not understand about? Positions are set. That's the red. Okay, and each one, we come in here, we check. If it's true, we set the element and we break out. There's no reason we should be drawing all of these. The only reason we should be drawing all of these is if it cannot project this. Not adding. I should only be seeing 3 red spheres if this is working, or 6 red spheres if this is working properly. There we go. Oh. Okay, so our extent is too small. Okay. We're getting. Let's go 300. Always get. There we go. Everybody goes to where they're supposed to go. Okay, great. So now we have a whole slew of people who are now going to get ousted because of interesting. They're no longer. Why aren't they drawing? Oh, it's because their attack. Okay. Their attack ring claims are already set, but after the character moves, we don't check to see if the point is still valid. So this is what, okay, so let me show you this test another way. Let's run straight to this wall before they have a chance, I think. Okay, so there's 3 of them, right? So they took up positions because, okay, yeah, this is going to be complicated. We need okay, so this is working. This is totally working. We're making progress. But I do need to actually head off to work. So we're going to wrap this up for today. So let me stop this. And we'll go ahead and do our wrap up. All right, so we did make progress. It was a little bit slow start, but that's okay. Right now where we are is we can use this projection thing to figure out if the point is valid. That is working. As long as it's always, like it just assume it's always valid. It's not resetting it. So probably what we need to do, and probably what I'll do hopefully between now and Sunday, maybe, otherwise we'll work on this together on Sunday, is actually put in the ability for the point to check if the point is still valid when it starts that attack ring claim stuff. But overall, that is not working. They don't get totally lost. They actually find a new spot that is within that giant ring radius. And I think, is this overkill? Is this overkill for what we probably need? Yes, but at the same time, I think it'll feel better knowing that this works from a repeatability standpoint and things like that. So that wraps up today. Anybody who's hanging out in the wings, thanks for hopping in. As always, if you all have questions, feel free to throw those in the comments or hop into the next live stream. Our next live stream will be Sunday night. Like I said, we're doing these Sunday nights and Wednesday mornings right now as much as possible. And I hope that everybody has an awesome week. And I will see you all on Sunday. Take it easy.